Monique.
Hello, Jan.
How's it
Good to
going?
see you. It's going great.
Good.
Great. How are you?
It's going good.
Good.
And it looks like we're going to have Elyse is coming on with the company account, maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
So she should be joining shortly. Might be just a quick delay, a little delay here. Let's try this again. Should be.
Hey to everyone who's tuning in.
There we go. There's Elyse.
Here I am. I see the circle still buzzing in. Okay, here I am. Hey, Jan.
Okay. Hi. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
We're excited to be here live with you tonight.
Yes, I was just researching a little bit more about your company, and I'm just so looking forward to asking you a bunch of questions.
Well, we're excited to answer them.
Okay, well, let's start with introduce yourselves, and then we'll take it from there, just so everybody knows who we're talking to.
Cool. Well, my name is Elyse, and Elyse Wolf, one of the co-founders of Mona Lisa Development, and I guess we'll leave it at that for now.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Monique Becker. I'm another co-founder and partner of Mona Lisa Development, and Elisa's best friend since 4 years old. So Mona Lisa Development is realizing our childhood dream of owning a business together.
Oh, wow. So it's gone back since age 4 then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always had some idea that we wanted to start a business. We thought maybe at one point it would be a thrift shop. I mean, maybe that's still to come. Yeah. We'll see.
I love the thrifting.
Yeah, but we ended up starting a real estate company instead.
So, so I, looking for your backgrounds, I was going to ask if you met at U of M because you both went to U of M, but it goes way back.
Yep.
Kindergarten.
So, what is Mona Lisa Development, and why a real estate development company?
Yeah, Elyse, do you want to take what's Mona Lisa Development? I'll tell them why we're focused on real estate.
Yeah, so Mona Lisa Development, we are a small real estate development company in the city of Detroit, of course. We have property management capabilities as well as consulting and construction in-house. Monique?
Yeah, no, I mean, we really are a socially driven, mission focused for profit. We decided to create this company to provide an economic opportunity for ourselves and others. So that's really huge for us. When we look at real estate development, architecture, design, the built environment, it impacts all of our daily lives in a very big way. And when we think about kind of quality of life issues and how real estate development and construction often has historically left out women, has left out folks of color, and especially, Black people in Detroit, being a mostly Black city, it's been really important for us. And we really have the privilege of extending opportunities to over 95% minority-owned construction companies when we're the general contractor on our own projects, and also when we take on client work. When we are leasing our spaces, we rent in a co-living model. We're really big on community, and so it's this kind of shared experience, really celebrating kind of the culture of Detroit and the Virginia Park community in particular. And we rent to creatives, community builders, emerging entrepreneurs for affordable rates. So again, that's us kind of spreading this opportunity of being able to live in a beautiful, well-designed space at an affordable rate. And then, in our consulting line of work, it really is advising our clients on how to center community when you're doing community engagement, but also when you're doing the day-to-day development management. And when you're making all of those decisions, how are we making sure that we're considering people, in addition to the profits, and making sure, you know, we are a for-profit company, so things do need to pencil out. But what those returns look like and how you get there, you know, you can do well and do good. And we're really focused on that happy medium and having that balance.
That's a lot. There's a Did it evolve from a point, or did you know right from the start that this is what we want to do and this is how we want to make it? This is how we want our mission and our vision to come together, or was it an evolution of how it came to that?
I'd say it was definitely an evolution, but we've really always been super focused on our mission and super focused on our community, but it was a natural evolution. We both were working full-time jobs when we kind of unofficially started the company. Monique was working as a teacher, and then she you know, she took on a role with a larger development group. I was working in healthcare. We decided we wanted to buy a house, and so we first started actually looking in the North End, but couldn't really find something that was at our price point. And so we ended up finding our first property in Virginia Park, which we still live at today. And we bought the house. It was a 2-family flat. It needed a little bit of renovations. My grandpa's a retired electrician and just really talented craftsperson. And so he just kind of snapped us into action and said, like, I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. And so we renovated our first unit ourselves. We fell in love with our community. We, you know, really, really quickly, just kind of quickly, but over some time, we blended in with, you know, the very tight knit families that were already there on our block, and we loved being there. And we found another property, renovated that one, and did the same thing, and then realized, like, we were at that point where we had a decision to make. Like, we loved the work, and we either could take the plunge and you know, pursue this full time, or, you know, stay where we were at. And so we made that jump.
So you just quit the 9-to-5s and said, we're going to do this, or was there a transition?
Well, I mean, it was an evolution. You know, I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone in this very cash intensive, resource heavy business of renovating homes to just kind of quit your 9-to-5 right away. We were strategic, and we had purchased 2-family flats and renovated, had them occupied while we were using our salaries to support that work.
Okay.
And kind of going after smaller, you know, friends and family loans and kind of special niche programs to get us started. But it wasn't until we had a couple properties under our belt. I had worked, you know, for a few years on kind of market rate deals with the platform, community engagement, helping with their investment fund, and then moved on to Shelbourne development, focused on affordable housing and historic rehab. And so, you know, all of this time, we're doing this work in the evenings and the weekends, and doing it under someone else's kind of mission and vision. And again, back to the importance of quality of life and how real estate development really impacts human beings and how we all live day to day. It's like, well, we have these skills, we're doing this work, we're so passionate that we're spending all of our money on it and all of our free time on it. So now it's time for us to really invest in ourselves and our vision, and trust in ourselves, and know that we're doing it for others. We can do it for ourselves. There's going to be some sacrifices, especially in the beginning. But then we were ready to take that plunge. So we were definitely thoughtful and planned out our approach before
it wasn't overnight, but we had to nurture that decision over, you know, a couple of years before we really went full time.
And so now you are supporting yourselves, and you have a team of people, from what I'm gathering. And so tell me about, you know, who's part of Mona Lisa Development.
Yeah, so Mona Lisa Development is definitely a family company. You know, Elyse and I are sisters, you know, best friends since 4. Elisa's grandpa, who everyone just calls Gramps, he is a light and a joy, and his energy is contagious. We have a hard time keeping up with him sometimes. He's always present, kind of supervising, enjoying his retirement, kind of doing all of these cool projects. And then we brought on a couple of my family members to support construction. One of them is my Aunt Janika. Is amazingly talented at kind of mudding and drywall repair. And she's really kind of embraced that. And obviously we have a lot of that given the condition of the homes and trying to preserve as much as possible, not just kind of go in and gut everything. One of my cousins, who is recently released from prison after a while. He's extremely focused and doing an amazing job. We're training him on that, on our projects, and providing, again, that opportunity to someone who our society often overlooks, but is extremely focused and driven. Aisha Boston is our project manager. She is an amazing human being and really has helped to kind of strengthen Mona Lisa overall. And then we have my cousin Teresa, who helps with all of our social media outreach and allowing us to kind of tell our story in a better way. And so that's the team. We also work with tons of amazing subcontractors and other consultants. And really, we wouldn't be able to be where we are and in such a short time if we did not have such a dope, amazing, cool, fun, focused team.
Yeah, so definitely check out the team page on our website, because we definitely shout out all of those businesses that have supported us in growing in this way. Everyone's been amazing. And
then we have somebody shouting out hello to Gramps in the in the chat. So as far as your two sort of division of labor, like what are your complementary skill sets that you're each contributing on a daily basis to the company's efforts?
Yeah, so we've definitely kind of figured out how we've had to divide and conquer to make all of this kind of come together. And so I have my residential builder's license in the state of Michigan. So I'm the qualifying officer for our construction company. So I lead most of the construction efforts. And, Monique obviously is pulled in when, we all come together when we need to have all hands on deck for certain projects. But I primarily lead construction, and then Monique leads our consulting line of business.
Okay. And what does the consulting, like what kinds of people are coming to you for consulting, and what kind of projects are you consulting on?
Yep. So mostly larger size projects. We're working with Grandmount Rosedale Development on some new construction and rehab. We're working on a project downtown, new construction in Paradise Valley. We are working on a project on the west side in the Core City neighborhood, working on the east side Marlboro project with East Jefferson Development Corporation. So it really is, and working with the platform on some community engagement. And, it really is a mix between kind of development management, like, preparing the draw request, making sure the architects do what the architects do, everyone, kind of just coordinating, being the kind of development point on some projects, to kind of some activation planning, more creative strategy work, and then community engagement, kind of developing that model, some creative ways to collaborate with communities. And so it really kind of is diverse, but it really is amazing kind of thought partnership that we have with our consulting clients. And yeah, it's just been wonderful for us to have experience and exposure on our own projects, smaller scale residential. Elyse recently completed our first commercial construction job with Folk in Corktown. And then also to be able to kind of work and collaborate on these larger projects ranging from, 23 units all the way up to kind of a couple hundred units in one development.
Would you say that most people are coming to you for consulting because they want to figure out how they can implement socially responsible development into what they're doing?
I mean, I think to an extent, I and our company, we have a lot of integrity. And again, like, we have a very strong mission. That's the reason that we started this company. And so we are very honest and give our opinions, whether that's kind of focused on, navigating city processes and knowing how that goes, advising there and kind of saying what we would recommend. And then also, of course, kind of social issues as well, and engaging with community and how that's done, and really just kind of helping to infuse our development philosophy into other projects as well.
So I want to talk about some of your own projects, because I think that most of what we're seeing online, as far like on your Instagram feed, like all of the renovations and
all of the colorful kitchens.
Yeah. So those are your own projects. And so when you say Virginia, are most of your projects in Virginia Park?
Yes. Yeah. Most of our projects are in the Virginia Park community.
And can you define that location? Is it west of the lodge? Like, can you define the boundaries of Virginia Park?
Yep. So West Grand Boulevard to Atkinson, Linwood to the lodge are the official Virginia Park community boundaries, which, side note, a lot of folks, in the community have been trying to kind of reclaim those boundaries because, unbeknownst to the community, folks at the city changed them some years back. And so we understand how important the name is to preserve legacy and history of a community, particularly one with such strong history of Black development. When you look at the Virginia Park Community Plaza, recognizing that 12th and Claremont and the 67 uprising kind of ignited here. And so Virginia Park community, we love it. We can talk about it as all day. We're working on a lot of really exciting initiatives with folks in community as well. But yeah, most of our current projects fall within those boundaries, although we are beginning to look at other areas of the city and even areas outside of the city. Our recent project that we'll be excited to share more about soon is actually a collaboration with some other makers, artists, creatives, and it's on the east side on Mount Elliott. So we'll be excited to share more about that soon.
Okay. Mount Elliott in the Island View community, or further north of there?
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. So your own properties. So you said that you renovate them, you lease them out, at sort of like at rates that would attract, or that serves the community. Not necessarily market rates. Do you also have Airbnb as well?
We do. Yep.
Okay.
We do manage one Airbnb in the north end. We did have an Airbnb on Pingree Street, but that had been converted to long-term housing during the pandemic.
Okay. And how do you find your properties?
So all different ways. Our first two were private sales, and actually Monique and I both were in a cohort of building community value, and we found our properties through a project, the final project of that class. which is super exciting to see, that follow through. We purchased one of our properties through the Wayne County tax auction and another one of them through the Wayne County Land Bank. So, because we've been kind of focused on our area, we've just kind of looked for what's available there. And so it's happened through a few different means.
And then you're also doing some, it looks like you're doing some planning as far as, you have some vacant land as well that you're, do I have that right? I thought I saw some where you had some site plans for
Yep.
vacant land that you'll activate for the community and everything.
Yeah, so that is on our block, and it is taking some long time land bank owned lots that have been vacant and just kind of getting overgrown, and transferring those into the hands of community members. So it's actually really is a really important collaborative kind of block project where I received, I'm part of the Knight Foundation Emerging City Champions Fellows for 2020, 2021, and they select kind of a group of millennial leaders from across the country, and we get some kind of seed funding for our projects and also some kind of professional development support. And I actually did my project on transforming these lots into a community gathering space and really looking at low-cost ways to transfer that ownership. I'm not sure if you know, but for the sake of everyone who's tuning in, if you want to purchase vacant property from the land bank, if it's next to you, you can, oftentimes get the side lot program and purchase the lots for $100. So one of the neighbors who's been on the block for decades has been trying to purchase these lots for a very long time, and actually was just able to finally purchase them yesterday for $100 each. Then he will kind of contribute those to the project. The neighbor on the other side, once the land bank clears up that property, she'll be able to purchase it as well. So we were able to actually hire a landscape architect from the neighborhood who's extremely talented and has worked on similar projects across the city to design what this space could look like. And really, we're relying on neighbors who are also passionate about seeing this park these lots transform into productive space, and really just who can build, who has some carpentry skills, who wants to plant some things, who can help with this aspect and that aspect. And so, yeah, where we are with that one is we have 4 different concepts and are raising funds to continue to be able to achieve our goal. But we will be starting with some kind of tactical urbanism, just getting some things out there so that we can enjoy it this spring and summer. And that we just don't have to look at overgrown land bank grass that they at the middle of the end of the spring will bring in a huge farmer tractor and then just plow it down, and now we just have to look at this ugly lot. So we're really excited to be able to work with our block to transform those.
Wow. So yeah, just yesterday.
Yeah, good time.
I didn't even know that. So great news.
Yeah. There's always so many things happening at once. So yes, Elyse, there's your update.
Woo! No,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just been such a long time coming. So it's great to finally like get this land into the hands of who should have it.
Yeah.
Because folks on the block have been, we'll get out, other people will get out there and mow it or, try to utilize it. But, you want to be able to truly have ownership of that space.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as far as funding goes, how do you, how have you, so obviously you do a lot of work that you get paid for directly, like consulting and construction, but for your own development, properties, how have you funded them in the past, and how do you fund them now?
Yeah. So, you know, in the beginning, when we first started, I think we mentioned this a little bit in the beginning, but we were, you know, working full time. We were putting some of our own, you know, salaries into these projects. We were finding small grant opportunities or small loan opportunities to help support, you know, aspects of the projects. But most recently, on our two projects that are currently under construction, we secured our first construction loan with Opportunity Resource Fund. So that was really, really exciting for us because it's really the first time that we'll be able to, you know, from start to finish, see a project through with all the funding sources that we need to get it done.
Is that just like function like a typical construction type loan?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then after you finish construction, does it turn into a permanent loan, or
Yep.
do you have to refinance it?
Well,
Okay.
we'll have to refinance it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So super, super exciting there. You know, we had to get to a certain point, you know, within the business to be able to be eligible for that type of loan. So, you know, really excited to see what type of doors that opens up for future projects. We did also get a grant last year called Elevate with the FHLBI group, which is a
Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. So it's like
Go Indianapolis.
Woo!
Yeah, but they're a group of banks in like the Midwest region, and so we applied through Level 1 Bank in Detroit, which is a participant of that group, and we received $25,000 that we were able to use directly for construction costs on one of the projects, and then there was also some funding in there for workforce development. So it was at that time that we brought on some of Monique's family members and were able to support their wages during training with that grant.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, now it's time to start talking to investors and seeing what that looks like, because it is important to us, again, like just going back to that mission and kind of focusing on doing the types of development that are deeply meaningful to us and with a big impact, is being able to have access to more capital, so that we can continue to be in the role of developer as the project sponsor, and be able to focus more of our time and energy on our projects, and begin to transition, or, you know, just kind of as some of our, you know, projects kind of phase out, not necessarily kind of seeking more of that business. And that's kind of where we are with our construction projects as well. Right now, we're not accepting new construction clients, and, you know, we definitely have our hands full with our projects that we have going on, kind of pursuing new opportunities, as well as all of our consulting. So, you know, we have a lot going on, but it's not necessarily everything happening at once. And kind of diversifying our business that way, particularly so that it can be a little bit more nimble and secure during different recessions or kind of trends, is that's kind of where we are now. And I'm happy that we were able to be strategic like that, because in the beginning, I don't know that was our full intention, but it's really been kind of paying off right now.
I love how the topics just keep flowing together, because I wanted to ask you sort of what is next, what's on the horizon for you. So kind of segues really nicely into that. So you're wanting to set yourself up for moving more into your own development projects, and less, you know, construction for other people, because I'm sure that can be incredibly time consuming. I can I just with just what I know about construction, I know how time consuming it is, and if you're putting your heart into it, you want to be able to for your own stuff.
And yeah, exactly. And we're a small team, so you know when we do have big you know, time consuming client projects like that, it kind of becomes all consuming.
Absolutely. So what's the vision? What's the next dream project?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we referenced some of our Airbnbs before, and that kind of hospitality aspect, being able to connect with different cultures, particularly before COVID, you know, just being able to connect our community and ourselves and other small businesses with kind of travelers, and also being able to be just kind of a very welcoming, open space is something that we find a lot of joy in, and ourselves naturally doing. You know, like for example, before COVID, we would have every Memorial Day weekend a set the tone party, just kind of good vibes, everyone welcome. It started by accident. Like one time we just had this party and there was hundreds of people in our yard, from neighbors to people, you know, traveling in for movement, and just kind of friends of friends and family. And it was just a very fulfilling, beautiful, fun experience. And so, you know, just by kind of breaking bread with people, dancing with people, and welcoming them into our space that way, that's something that we find a lot of kind of joy, and seeing those, and knowing that we were able to kind of host something like that and provide the space for something like that to happen just is, you know, a sign of success for us. And so being able to kind of continue to approach kind of development projects, engagement, relationship building from that really kind of hospitable place is something that we've been thinking through in terms of kind of wellness spaces, retreats, you know, kind of thinking about how do we like design these spaces in a way that does make them accessible. You know, we definitely don't have the answer to that, and it's really important for us to collaborate with people like Ani G Access on here, who focuses on that and is, you know, a tremendous thought partner on those regards. So I think, you know, just continuing to do more projects that allow us to bring people together, different kinds of people, welcome them into the community, and just, you know, kind of have fun and be able to design like beautiful spaces and be really resourceful with it, and kind of thrifty, and doing that at larger scales and continuing to do that is, I think, where we really see ourselves flourishing. In terms of what the exact project type is, you know, we don't know, but we're open as long as it will allow us to be able to, again, like live out that vision and mission, and implement that type of development philosophy.
I am glad you brought up design, because that's, I think, one of the things that, you know, drew me in to wanting to find out more about you, and then like reading on your website and being like, wow, these people are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So fun, and you know, just like really attracted to your mission. But as far as the design goes, you know, because I come from, you know, real estate sales background, so in a world of like gray and white and subway tile everything, your design flair is very colorful, and you're doing interesting things, like painting things that you wouldn't expect to be painted, like ceilings black and fireplaces blue. So can you talk about your design inspiration? Is it sort of a group decision-making process, and has it evolved over time?
Yeah, I mean, I love at least starting with the original space. You know, I think that we get a lot of inspiration just from being in, you know, the original space and wanting to preserve and restore it, but then thinking about how do we modernize, how do we make it colorful, how do we make it fun, but it still pays homage to what this space, you know, always was like, because there's so many interesting like architectural pieces that already exist, and we don't, you know, we haven't yet, you know, wanted to open up a whole floor plan and make it totally contemporary. So we try to preserve and really accentuate what's already there, but do it in a fun way. I think a lot of our decisions we make together, but as far as like a specific process goes, it's really just collaborative.
Yeah, I mean, my mom designed Dandy Jack's, which is the Airbnb space in the North End that we manage. My parents actually renovated that, and we're managing it, and we finished out the construction for them. But you know what she's done there is just an incredible work of art, and she's always been very talented and creative, and resourceful. You know, kind of pairing different materials and using what you've got, and just kind of that spirit of like resourcefulness and thriftiness and style. Really, you know, I think I personally got from my mother, and you know, going to thrift stores and seeing what old furniture exists, and then being inspired by a color that's in that, or just looking at the bones and the structure of a space, like what Elyse was saying, and falling in love with those elements, and knowing that the way to really make those elements pop is to bring them to your attention. So if you have this incredible built-in that's 100 years old, like I want you to see that. So I want to do it a big, bright, bold color. You know, we have this ceiling that has this kooky texture. We're not going to scrape it all off, but yeah, let's kind of call attention to it and do a really dark, deep ceiling to kind of add to that dramatic effect. And you know, again, like Elyse, we don't go in and just blow everything out. We work with what we have. We see the beauty in it, and we figure out ways to call out that beauty to people who may not be as creative or visionary when they are first seeing a space like this. And so, you know, we'll be shopping at Menards or Home Depot, and we'll see like, oh, that tile is really cool. Okay, grab all that they have, and we'll figure out some way to incorporate it. So then when we have a project coming up, it's like, okay, first, let's check our inventory. We have a lot of different cool stuff that we've accumulated and collected, and let's go there first before we totally design with like a blank slate. We need to buy all new things. We need to source all new things. No, we're kind of sourcing from our inventory that we cannot stop collecting because all the pieces are so beautiful. And then letting that resourcefulness kind of take over and really uplift what's already there, and kind of then we've been really fortunate to have such a cohesive design that, like Elyse said, is paying homage to the old while also, you know, adding our Mona Lisa flair.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it, and what we find like to be the fun thing, different unique pieces, you know, whether it's something that like we found in the neighborhood or if it's something that we, you know, found on Facebook Marketplace. It's just, as Monique said, we're collecting stuff, and then we'll design around that piece. So then you know that your final design is going to be something original and unique, because it's not the Home Depot special, because we didn't just go to the store on one day to buy everything for the project. We've been holding on to this really cool vanity for a while, and, you know, letting everything kind of play off of that cool piece.
Do you ever have to make decisions based on finances, on like what you can do or how far you can take something, or are you just like, we're gonna figure out how to preserve that, we're gonna make this work somehow?
Yeah, I mean, everything within reason. Like, we're not going to kill the financial health of the deal to preserve our particular aspect of it. We know that it's more important to have a renovated, livable, healthy, safe space as opposed to, you know, really focusing on preserving any one particular element. Um, but that being said, I mean, we do have to make some design decisions that may lead to kind of maybe the kitchen feels a little bit awkward, but it's still totally functional, and we're able to keep this really special aspect of the home. So I feel like it comes down more to, for us, like design and functionality as opposed to um, kind of making really costly decisions to kind of preserve certain
Mm-hmm.
elements.
So let's see. I wanted to ask this at the beginning, but where did the name Mona Lisa Development come from?
So
Good
that
question.
one, yeah, love this question. So that one came from basically our names. So it started from that, and then it evolved. So everyone calls Mo, and I'm Elyse. And so when you say our names like together, Mo and Elyse, it just kind of started sounding like Mona Lisa, or someone said it at one point, and it started sounding like Mona Lisa. And you know, we were probably always looking for a fusion name to call ourselves over the years. And when we were thinking about, you know, when we bought our first property, thinking about, you know, starting an LLC to kind of manage the rental income, we decided to call that company Mona Lisa Management. And then, you know, when we decided to actually go with Mona Lisa Development, we started doing some more research on the Mona Lisa painting and kind of learning about its representation of, you know, being this kind of strong, like Renaissance woman at the time that it was created. And it fits so perfectly that, you know, we kept with that. And then Tony Hooligan designed an amazing logo that was like a modern abstract twist that kind of looks like us a little bit with hair. And so we absolutely love it.
Yeah, and when you think about like this Renaissance woman term, you know, Detroit has been said to be in a Detroit Renaissance, but again, it feels like this kind of two Detroits. So what does it mean like for us to be so focused on inclusive and equitable development? What does it look like for this Renaissance woman to be kind of supporting and in some ways like leading those efforts, you know, alongside other kind of like-minded developers? And then also just Renaissance women being like multi-talented and multifaceted. And like you said, we have a lot going on, and we always do, and we like it that way, and we manage it, and we multitask, and everything is complementary. So it's really is, you know, that embodiment as well, and obviously paying respect and a nod to our appreciation for art and culture and design, and really, you know, in implementation, like we're not just going to call ourselves Mona Lisa Development and not actually provide affordable housing for artists or kind of collaborate with artists and, you know, have co-partnership opportunities with creatives and folks in our in the creative community. So it's really just kind of showing who we are, and there's real synergies with the Mona Lisa painting, but then also kind of a reminder to ourselves always of like why we're doing this work, staying grounded in that, and being these, you know, strong, stoic, happy, but not, you know, overjoyous women, because we're doing important work here, when we kind of are, you know, doing Mona Lisa development work every day.
So speaking of community, I imagine that, you know, your efforts, your engagement, your contribution to your community has sort of multiplied in a lot of different ways. So I just want to get a sense of, you know, what is it like to be living and, you know, helping to restore and just being part of that community, and what, you know, tell me about your neighbors and tell me about, you know, what it's like just being involved in that, and, you know, how the neighborhood has grown since you've been there. You know, I just kind of like paint a picture for me of what it's been like since you started, how the neighborhood has evolved, and you've evolved with it, and, you know, and just, I'd like you to just say a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think when we first moved in, it was like super clear that, you know, there was a lot of like long-standing families on our block and in our community that had been there for generations, really set roots there, owned, you know, a lot of different properties on the block. And so, you know, when we first moved in, it was really important to us to start to meet those folks and, you know who they were. And, you know, that part took a little bit of time, but I think because we were like so like physically present and like personally involved in the work that we were doing, you know, people were starting to realize like, okay, they're here to stay, like they're legit, like they're getting their hands dirty, like we'd be, you know, on our bikes like with a bag of tools like between the two houses sometimes, and just like waving to everyone and meeting everyone. And so, you know, once we started to get to know folks, like everyone's always out on their porches playing music loud in the spring and summer, getting together, having a beer. So, you know, it really is this feeling like it's one. I feel like the neighbors over there are always having like feuds with each other, and like you know, people don't get along. And so it was just, you know, I've never felt like home like this before. So it really just is like such a beautiful thing. Like I feel like I'm, you know, always able to just go up to anyone on the block and like give them a hug pre-COVID. And, you know, just really like treat these, like we all just like feel so comfortable and feel like, you know, family. And it's been really like amazing to feel so accepted, you know, especially because, you know, we are still new to the neighborhood, you know, having been lived there over only 5 years, and most of these folks have been here for, you know, 30-40 years. You know, there's definitely been a lot of development in the area as well. But what's been really cool to see is a lot of it has also been, you know, people fixing up their own houses, or, you know, focusing on a small number of those. And so it's really just kind of, you know, noticeable that it's a labor of love, and people are moving in and moving their families in, and really caring for the home. So that's been really reassuring to see as well.
Yeah, and it's we love our community. We share, you know, joy together. We're there when we need each other. Like, you know, last summer there was 3 community run like food distributions, 360 Detroit Inc. and George Adams, who's, you know, an amazing community leader, you know, organized kind of wellness packages, you know, to be distributed. And we also work together and do kind of community organizing and activism together, which is extremely important. One initiative that we've been working on since the summer of 2020 is called Black Detroiters Rebuild Virginia Park Community. And we will be launching our full website April 7th. But essentially that project is calling out a problematic Herman Kiefer deal, particularly the residential homes and the side and the lots. So back in 2015, a developer kind of won an RFP, is the only one to apply for the RFP for the 10 commercial buildings. But in addition to that, there was a separate land bank agreement that gave this person with no vested interest in the community the ability to purchase all of the land bank property, 125 homes, and all of the vacant lots, 400 lots in the community, when longtime residents and Detroiters, tax-paying Detroiters, had been denied the opportunity. Fast forward to 2021, we don't have one house renovated. We lose homes to arson each year. The homes are boarded up, and a crew of folks from the neighborhood have done a tremendous job at clearing away all the overgrown shrubs and cutting the grass. But this deal was not for a landscaping contract. It was to restore the homes and bring back neighbors. And so we are, demanding that the city hold this developer accountable for the properties that he has closed on, 30 of them. But even better, we know that there's an amazing opportunity here to support generational wealth building opportunities for Detroiters. So there's about 77 homes that remain. We're asking that the city kind of do not allow that developer to close on anymore, and instead support our initiative that will reserve those homes for Detroiters and 80% of the homes in the lots for Black Detroiters. We are a majority Black city. We are also one of the poorest cities. We know that the number one way Americans gain generational wealth is through home ownership. And we know that Detroit used to have some of the highest rates of home ownership, but now they have some of the lowest. So when the city packages a deal for $500 a home for this developer, which is just unheard of, and residents are not allowed that opportunity and not allowed that chance at the American dream, and not allowed that chance at upward mobility, that's when we, as community members, as real estate developers, as thought leaders in this space, that is something that we cannot just accept. And, particularly when we're seeing this injustice in our backyard, and we're seeing so many folks excluded from this opportunity. So I really am looking forward to being able to tell our story in a larger way, particularly as we launch the website. The website will be a place that shares more about the work that we're doing, a little bit of history on the community, and focusing on the solution and how we can continue to collaborate with each other, with other organizations in the equitable development space, to, again, extend those opportunities. We've had the opportunity to purchase in our neighborhood. We want other people, and particularly homeowners from the community and renters from the community, to be able to become homeowners in the community. So the website will go live. It's definitely going to be an important moment where it's a call to action, where we need folks to sign up that they want to purchase a home, they want to purchase a lot. And, we got some amazing people and organizations working on this, and it will be a really important and powerful example of what community can do when we all come together. And, it couldn't happen anywhere else than the VPC, Virginia Park community, with, again, like the legacy here of activism and development and neighborhood driven development in particular.
So I think that is kind of like a perfect place to end things. And so I wanted to ask, so you have some fans obviously on here. People absolutely seem to love, just who you are and how you do what you do. So if you have myself and anybody else that wants to be able to support you further, how can somebody get involved in those efforts and help support your efforts in the community, or help spread the word? How would you suggest that we can get involved?
Yeah, so conversations like this are amazing. Thank you for giving us, kind of the opportunity to speak with you. Spreading the word and building relationships in this way is extremely important. once the website goes live, kind of sharing that with folks as well. We really are developing kind of a model that will benefit this community, but that we feel strongly is replicable for other communities facing kind of similar injustices, which we know is common across Detroit. And, we are going to be having actually in May, we will be having a yard sale that will be raising additional funds for our community gathering space. So, it'll be COVID safe. We'll be wearing masks outside. We'll have music. We'll have Sips and Drips, who's on here. Our neighborhood business, Shalika, makes amazing to-go cocktails. And so, we definitely would love to invite everyone who's on this call to come out. You can kind of see one of our spaces, see our community, and would love to kind of talk and get to know people that way as well. Yeah, I mean, we're here, we're accessible.
Yeah, we'll definitely be posting and sharing if we do host anything so that we can, get people to come out, because I think we're all, eager to be able to socialize safely this summer.
And is that, yeah, I know we're ready, right? We're so ready. Ready to hug everybody. Is that the website that you posted, ddrebuild.com? Is that the website to watch?
Yep. That's for Black Detroiters Rebuild.
Okay.
That initiative. So yes, we'll definitely be blasting that out on our, Mona Lisa channels and both of our personals as well. And then, you can always find us, on Instagram at Mona Lisa Develops. And our website by phone and email. So drop us a note. We'd love to kind of get to know you better. We also Elyse has been thinking about how do we start to put together some more resources to be helpful. So even if we can't necessarily have one-on-one conversations about people's projects, like how do we begin to share some of that knowledge as well. So looking forward to connecting with people in that way more in the future through our social media channels.
And when it comes to some of the projects like we talked about with the, community, the community park across the street from our house, like we may be looking for some volunteers to help once we get that underway and can come together and do some gardening projects as a community.
Love it. I'm so grateful that you took the time to talk, and I'm a huge fan. I will be contacting you offline to, continue the conversation further and kind of be involved, because it's really resonates definitely, with how I want to contribute in the city. So thank you for just creating the space for all these people to come together. It's really extraordinary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
It's been really
all right.
nice.
Well, you have a great
evening.
Yeah, you have a great evening, and I will definitely be in touch.
All right, peace.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Good night.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Night.